Good morning. Did you have a lot of wind and rain last night? Well, I did. Well, our disciple today is Jude, Jude. Now, he used to be Judas, but after Judas betrayed Jesus, nobody wanted a name with Judas, so they named him Jude. His other name was Thaddeus, and Thaddeus was a nickname, a Greek nickname, and it meant courageous heart. Now you will recall I've been talking about the 4 list of the disciples in the Bible. Well, Jude is listed in 2 of the list, and Thaddeus in the other 2 of the list. So we know that Jude was, and Thaddeus, they were the same people. So Jude stayed with Jesus almost 3 years, just like the other disciples did. And he was the brother of Jesus. Actually, he was the half-brother of Jesus, but they didn't say half in the Bible. They just said brother. So he was a brother of Jesus. He was also a farmer. And this is amazing to me that I had not heard, but in the ancient writing, he was the groom. Remember the story that you've heard all your life about Jesus turning the water into wine at Cana? Well, Jude was said to be the groom at that wedding. And so this makes a lot of sense, thinking that he is the brother of Jesus, because it was at Cana that the mother, Mary, was at the wedding, and they ran out of wine, and so she went to Jesus and said, "Would you please make wine out of this water?" So that's how that little story came about. Now, Jude is the author of a little tiny book in the Bible. And when I say small, it's the smallest one in the Bible. And if you were looking for little Jude in there, you would have to look a long time to find it, because he is next to the last book in the Bible. And as I said, it's very small. It's like 4 pages long. So you sometimes, if you're looking at some art, you will see a lot of these disciples in a piece of art. And in one of the art pieces, you will see him shown with a flame around his head. And what that signifies is that he was present at Pentecost when all of the disciples received the Holy Spirit from Jesus. So, Jude, as we know, having been, being a brother of Jesus, was in the same area that Jesus grew up. And they spoke Aramaic. And I just happened to see a little video of the Pope and the Prime Minister of Israel. And the Prime Minister said to the Pope that Jesus spoke in Hebrew. And the Pope corrected him, and he said, no, he spoke Aramaic, said he understood Hebrew. Well, I kind of think that Jesus understood Greek too, which was the universal language of the Bible in those days. So, Jude could speak both Aramaic and Hebrew and Greek. So, he was a pretty smart fellow. Now, another depiction that you can see in some of the paintings of Jude was that he had an axe in his hand. And what that signified was the ancient method of martyrdom that Jude went through. Just like you chop up pieces of wood, and since he was a farmer, of course he had an axe, he would chop up pieces of wood. Well, it was used as the Greek method of martyrdom for Jude. Let's look at the banner for just a minute, and you will see a pretty little sailboat here. This sailboat depicts the missionary trips that Jude had taken on his missionary trips to preach. And so that is your lesson today for Jude. Have a good day and keep safe.